2, 1. Viewer beware, you're in for a scare. Remember Goosebumps?
Yeah.
You guys watched that show? Yeah.
I did,
it was pretty
It was
good.
a decent show. It was Canadian. Halloween's going to be coming soon, I guess. This is probably the last episode that's going to air before Halloween. We're Sardonicast. I'm Adam from Your Movie Sucks.
It's always a game if who's going to say,
go ahead.
say it first. I'm Alex from I Everything. I just like interrupting when you inevitably, ramble on about your Twitter or whatever.
Oh, well, people like to hear that. YouTube.com/Ralph the Movie Maker.
Yeah, that's the one.
Speaking of Canada, we're going to legalize weed really soon. In like
Really?
2 days
I thought
or
you
some
already
shit.
legalized weed.
Nah, it was, well, I mean, like, the motion was passed or however it works, but it comes into effect in a couple days. So it'll be legal
cool.
across the country in like
Whoa.
2 days.
Congrats.
Yeah,
congratulations.
boy.
Hopefully
Lucky.
the U.S. follows very soon.
Mm-hmm.
Really no reason for it to be illegal at
Yeah,
this point.
honestly, I think the drug war has failed.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
I mean, I don't think heroin should be out on the streets, but like, what's weed doing to
It's on the
anybody,
streets
honestly?
right now. Do you want to have this debate? I can have this debate.
Nah. I'd rather talk about Venom.
Yeah, well, go
So-
for it. What did you think of Venom then?
Oh, well, I wanted you guys to start because I wanted to be like the contrarian. I assume you guys didn't like it at all.
It wasn't good.
It was completely worthless.
Well, I didn't think it was good, but it
Oh.
wasn't as bad, I think, as well, because like a lot of comparisons are being made to Suicide Squad, right? And The Amazing Spider-Man, and like walking into this movie dreading it, I didn't think it was that bad, and I thought it was either kind of decent or like so bad that it was funny for all of it.
What came close to being decent for you?
I thought Tom Hardy was pretty good. Like,
Really?
I thought he was genuinely trying. Because here's the thing: everyone else in the movie is fucking awful. Riz Ahmed is awful. Michelle Williams is awful, and it's because I don't think they were really trying. And Tom Hardy like took this awful dialogue and sold it, and he actually like a character got across from both him and Venom. Right, so I give him props for that. Like he did his job, and he did a good job.
What do you mean when you say him and Venom? Was he voicing Venom too?
I think so.
Yeah, it was.
My brother
Oh.
told me.
Okay,
Yeah, it was.
interesting.
There you go.
I didn't know that.
Uh-huh. I thought
Yeah,
he was good
I
as
thought
Venom.
his what's the name of his character again?
Eddie Brock.
Eddie Brock.
right?
Yeah.
Eddie Brock.
I thought his Eddie Brock was kind of funny. It felt like a mentally handicapped person. I wasn't really sure what he was going for there. It's really strange.
He kind of seemed like Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure what to think of him. It was kind of funny. It was entertaining, that's for sure. I didn't feel bored in Venom.
Right. Exactly.
I did. I thought it was
Yeah?
fucking boring. Yeah,
Really? The whole thing?
pretty much. The moment I laughed the most was when that abysmal Eminem song started playing at the end.
Yeah.
We're gonna go get 'em. That was good. I like that.
I'm
bit.
so glad it was in the credits.
Yeah.
You did,
So happy.
right at the end of the movie, too. And then the Venom title comes up, doesn't it? Or does it just go straight to directed by whoever the hell directed
I
it?
can't remember, mate. You're gonna have to remind me.
It was the it was pretty much like the Eminem song, and then after the Eminem song, we got the post-credits scene, which I want to talk about, but we'll do that after a spoiler warning, I guess, later. Because the
Even though it's the most
post-credits scene
obvious,
was really
predictable
funny.
thing of all time. Yeah.
It was too good. There's a lot of funny stuff in this movie. I think some
Yeah,
of
there
it was
is.
intentional, though. To give it some credit, I think some of it was intentional. Like I
think
think
so,
that
too.
the him eating a fish and all that was supposed to be like somewhat comical, I guess. But still, it was. I mean, most of the movie was just like really awkward and didn't make all that much sense. Like I don't know why does this symbiote apparently have some sort of like social structure on their planet where they understand concepts like being a pussy or like being a loser.
Yeah.
Like You know,
I was
like
gonna
what
say,
what are
Alex,
they?
did you
even?
not like Venom's backstory where he's like a loser on his home
I'm a
planet too,
loser
He's a
and so they
total
team up
weeb.
to fight crime? That was fucking hilarious. Come on.
I nearly walked out at that point. It's just like, it's like, okay, you get to that point, and the film is basically just putting up middle fingers towards the screen, just like, look, we don't give
Yeah.
a fuck. You're the one
Exactly.
sat there.
It was so
Oh.
stupid that
I find it
loved
cynical
it.
though. I find it fucking annoying because it's just Sony's bullshit. They're at it again. That's why
I know.
I see no difference between this and the Amazing Spider-Man 2. They're just complete cash grabs just to try and like ride off the superhero trend. Nothing else.
Yeah,
Nothing else at all.
I totally agree with you. But that's what all these movies are. So even the good ones, it's just a studio just wants to make money off these superhero properties. And like,
But-
God bless they get talented people to do it. And then you get Sony, who's a bunch of fucking idiots. And like, I'm saying, Amazing Spider-Man took itself so seriously, and it was so boring. And I was expecting that again. And this movie was just so dumb, and it didn't care about taking itself seriously at all, that it was entertaining. I enjoyed myself while I was there, even though I was forced to be there.
I feel like they started with a terrible script though. Like if you're gonna invest money into something, like this is the script that you chose. This is where you're gonna invest all of your millions of dollars.
That's what they
It
always
was just
do.
so.
Because the script is irrelevant. They just went
I
through
guess so.
their top trumps of, okay, what IPs do we own? Well, we have Venom. He's marketable. Kind of looks like Spider-Man. He's edgy.
Let's make
You
a
can
bunch
kind
of
of play
Spider-Man
the funny
movies.
side off. There you go. Movie's written. Don't even need to. Probably didn't even pay anyone to write it. They probably just Googled like Venom funny and then just copied and pasted the first result.
They had a script in a drawer, and they're just put Venom in it. That's what they do. They're a bunch of fucking hacks. But I'm saying, like, this one didn't come out that bad. At least I enjoyed myself.
I think
I've
it was
seen
pretty
Hell.
bad.
I've seen Hell. Suicide Squad is fucking awful. This is not that.
Of course, Suicide Squad is worse. That's for sure. It's more boring, but I mean, this was just kind of like a deceptive slap in the face where they didn't even try. Like their entire the tagline for the film is "The world has enough superheroes," but then they just made Venom a superhero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like it's on the poster and in the trailer. It's like, why are you doing this? I thought the world had enough superheroes, Sony. Like you're just lying to people. Venom's supposed to be a bad guy. This was supposed to be a villain movie. That's what I wanted. If I was going to take this seriously at all, I would love to see a cool villain movie with Venom. But of course they're not going to do that. And of course everybody should have guessed that as soon as the news came out that it was PG-13. There's not going to be actual weight or consequence to anything, you know?
No. Venom wasn't like evil. He just needed to eat people.
But he only did it off screen.
And so he's like, I guess I'll eat bad people because then I could get away with it.
We're
It's
not
so
sure if he
dumb.
actually ate anyone because it was all off screen. They could have just ran
Yeah.
away and he made a noise or something.
It was all PG-13. And he's like eating like that guy at the end of the movie. That scene was so bad, first of all. But it's like, you're going to eat a guy who's, mugging like a woman?
Mhm.
Like, you should be eating serious criminals, not this random street thug.
Well, that's the only crime that exists in superhero universes. For like Spider-Man, he's like even in the game, it's like, oh, he's just gonna stick around downtown New York,
Mm-hmm.
like this is the crime that matters here.
You should go to Wall Street, eat some heads there. But no.
Should go to the White House. Am I right?
Yeah!
Funny. Nice one, lads.
Thanks.
They don't even play off what makes Venom even remotely interesting to begin with. Like in the Spider-Man universe, him being like the evil inverse of Spider-Man and all of his motivations being about hating Spider-Man, pretty much. Like the character just on his own, what does he represent in this movie? They kind of reference that, I guess, that Spider-Man is a thing. Well, they reference that like the Daily, was it Bugle or Planet? I can't remember.
Bulge.
Yeah, the Daily Bulge is in this universe, but like, I don't really know that much about Venom. So before the film came out, I went and read a lot about the character and everything that he's done and represents, and every single storyline is directly involved with Spider-Man. The character has nothing going on aside from his his feelings towards Spider-Man and how literally every single motivation he has is based around his hatred for Spider-Man. So you take that out, and then it's just like this empty, pointless film about nothing. He's just
I mean-
he's an incompetent idiot as well. Like the first 30 minutes of the film, he's like, I'm trying to even remember. He gets like in trouble. That's it. He like betrays his
He was
his
like
girlfriend.
reporting. Well, he was reporting on Elon Musk basically.
She willingly entered this relationship with this man who she already knew was doing like controversial things and reporting on high profile stories. It's like, oh no, somebody retaliated and she blames him for it? What the fuck? That was like poorly established.
No, she blamed him for hacking into the computer. Like it was
Hacking
an
in-
invasion
what
of
do you
her
mean?
privacy.
What?
Cuz remember he went into her computer.
It was pretty sly what he did.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
guess I got confused.
Yeah, he hacked into her computer and she was mad and she broke up with him.
I thought it would had to do with like the same thing with him getting fired.
Oh no.
As in, what's his face? The Riz Ahmed's character?
Oh yeah, well it was involved. Did Michelle Williams work for Riz Ahmed or something? Because she
No.
had some file that made Tom Hardy go, "Okay, I need to investigate him," which is what got him fired. But
Was she not like a lawyer or something?
Yeah, she was like a lawyer for Riz Ahmed or something.
I thought that like she randomly got fired because of some fallout from what he did, and then she
Yeah,
was mad
what
at
he
him for
did.
like investigating in the first place.
Yeah.
Who cares,
Yeah?
honestly?
It wasn't like
I mean,
I
we're
don't
trying
know.
to remember it.
Maybe if
When
I
did you
watched
see
it a
this?
second time, I watched it on release day, so that was like
Yeah,
over
so
a
the
week
day it
ago.
came
okay,
out.
so yeah, it's been a while for all of
Yeah.
us.
Either way, I don't think their relationship was very well developed at all. Honestly,
Oh,
like
no.
I didn't feel
Of course
anything
not.
when they broke up. It was like, oh, what? Why do I care? You know?
Mm-hmm. And then the last scene with them was really bad too.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we can still get her, but she doesn't know. Ha ha ha. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is this? It ended like a sitcom or like a buddy cop movie from the 80s too.
I guess
like
there's
Venom
spoiler
and him
warnings on.
Were like, oh yeah. Who cares really for this?
Some people care. It doesn't take that much effort to say spoiler warning.
I guess.
Spoiler
Right.
warning.
But like it ends with just Venom and him walking down the street, and they're playing like that silly Venom music, and they're like cracking jokes. It's like, what the fuck? This is how Blind Spotting ended, but they were doing it ironically, and they're doing
Yeah.
you're doing it for real. Like what?
It was very bizarre and unsatisfying. I was not very
Yeah.
satisfied with the plot of this film. It felt really just thrown together. It felt like it just came from a fart of Sony. You know?
Yeah. But I'm
There was
saying
no
for a
effort
fart,
put into
it's
this
not,
story.
It's not as bad as it could have been, and it wasn't torture.
It wasn't
Like,
silent
when-
but deadly, you mean?
Yeah.
It's just
That's what I mean.
you just have to
Like,
like
Alex, what did
wave
you-
your
what did you
arm in
rate
front of
it?
your face a little bit.
I just gave it a half star out of 5.
Wow, really?
Yep.
Like I don't think it's that bad.
It's
Like,
worthless. It's like not one thing I can point at is of quality. The writing's bad. All the acting's bad. The action is bad. Everything about it sucks.
No, but I think certain departments were okay or competent.
Like what?
Like the acting for one thing from Tom Hardy. I liked
Meh.
him. I thought some of the VFX
I
were
thought he
pretty
sucked, man.
cool. Okay, some of the VFX were pretty good. The movie looked okay. The sound design, in terms of like the symbiote and the sounds it would make, like the I'm trying to find the word for
Sloshing.
it. Yeah, like the sloshing. Yeah, that all sounded cool. Like there were elements of it that were really well done. Overall, I thought it was not boring. Like I watched the whole thing and I was like okay with it. I wasn't offended, or I didn't think it was offensively like bad. I just thought it was stupid and entertaining.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just jaded to the point where I'm just sick of these movies.
Mm-hmm. I'm sick of them
Like,
too. That's why I
to
thought
me,
this was a breath of fresh air. 'cause it
everything
was
you
so
just
stupid.
described, everything you just said as positives for this movie, aside from it not being boring, applied to like the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Like the film.
No, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is boring and awful, and it thinks
I
it's
disagree.
like this
That's
important.
That's what I just said though.
It's this
No, but like
important movie. Okay.
you just said, like the Venom looks okay or whatever. You know, like it's in focus. The bare essentials to be a movie, and the same can be applied to the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Like there are a couple of things you could point at and be like, well, the Spider-Man suit looks okay. There's some
No.
okay
can't
action
even say
bits.
that.
The action's probably better in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 than it is in Venom.
I would say so.
I
yeah.
don't think so.
That
I think
last
so, yeah.
sequence at the end of Venom is mind-bogglingly
That
bad.
one, yeah. That one's really bad. But I mean, the scene where the guys break into his apartment and the Venom symbiote, whatever, is like killing the guys against Tom Hardy's will. I thought that scene was cool. I thought the car chase was okay. Like nothing
The
special.
car
but
chase was dreadful. With the drones chasing him and suicide
they
bombing
released
into
the
him.
drone, and then they exploded, even though they were made
just
of
makes no
plastic. These
sense.
drones don't
Explosions.
explode.
I think
That's
it
just as
says
dumb, man.
something honestly like that apartment scene was better done in the movie Upgrade, and that movie was super fucking cheap. You know, that was a low budget movie. Have you guys seen Upgrade?
I haven't, so
I haven't
Okay,
yet.
well you
It's
should
on my
watch
list.
Upgrade because if you were impressed by that scene in Venom, there's a better scene in Upgrade that's essentially the same thing, and they did it first and better for less money. So
okay. I wasn't saying I was impressed by it. I was saying it was okay and it was well done compared to like the Suicide Squad action, which is like you can't fucking see it and it's all green and it's at night. Like,
if you're
or the
comparing
Amazing
it to
Spider-Man
Suicide Squad, it's gonna seem great. Okay, we should leave
But I'm
Suicide
saying,
Squad
like,
out
all
of the
the-
out of the
This
equation
movie
here.
is on like the list of like it's up there with Suicide Squad and Justice League, and I don't think it's as bad as those.
Oh, I don't think it's as bad as Suicide Squad for sure, and I haven't seen Justice
I don't
League
think it's
yet.
as bad as Suicide
That's
Squad,
all.
but
That's
I think
all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a good movie.
it's similar to, maybe it's not quite as bad as Justice League, but that has a story behind it. There's no excuse for this movie. It's just a $100 million
Yeah.
garbage, manipulative, like worthless film where not one aspect of it is of quality.
Also, I feel like Suicide Squad as a concept is kind of like destined to fail from the get-go. It's like, oh, we're just gonna have like this ensemble of bad guys in the movie, and that's literally the only purpose to it is just so you can see your favorite character. But Venom,
But that's what
You
Guardians
could
of the
make-
Galaxy is. And they did it well. I think Venom is fucked from the beginning because you're making a Venom
No.
movie that's PG-13 with like
well,
a
PG.
Spider-Man
I mean,
in
that's
it.
not fucked
yeah,
from the
it's
beginning.
like, oh my
All I'm
god.
saying, you could make a decent solo Venom movie, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You could make something that wasn't shit. And I feel like this was just a wasted opportunity, honestly. Like, I don't even read the comics. Like, you could have whatever creative liberties you want with the source material, but the concept of this creature and the character design and the universe, you know, like you could add some real stakes to it. If it was rated R and it wasn't Sony, then it might have been pretty good. I don't know. It could have been entertaining.
Yeah,
It could have. I just
probably.
wanted to see some like consequence. I wanted to see some like perhaps maybe experience an emotion like fear or suspense at any point. You know, that's what I would want out of a Venom movie. And you know, I got some laughs out of it. That was fun, and I'm glad you enjoyed it for that. But I still, it still kind of leaves a sour taste in my mouth. You know, I can point and laugh, but it's
how
not something that I
cynical it
think
is,
is
yeah.
good
Yeah.
because of that.
Mm-hmm. But I'm saying like all of these movies have that cynical business end of it, whether it's a good movie or not. So I'm like at this point I'm like I don't really want to judge this movie with that, you know, on top of it. Like I just want to watch it
the
as a movie.
context does make a difference. Like
I
the
know,
Marvel
you're
movies,
totally
they put
right.
in the work and effort. Where this is
Mhm.
just riding off the work and effort they've put into it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. But in terms of the guys who are actually making the decisions in these studios, they're just like, I fucking whatever, make a movie about whatever. I don't care. What comic book character do we have that's like Deadpool? Because Deadpool did well. Venom, fuck it, make it.
Mm-hmm.
And as that, it's like, all right, at least some people cared about making the movie.
The only Marvel IP that Sony has at this point is Spider-Man, right? So they're just
Yeah.
gonna keep doing things from his universe. They got Enter the Spider-Verse coming out soon. Like they're gonna
Which
be
actually
milking
looks good.
Spider-Man for
No,
a
actually,
while.
that's good. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
looks decent. I like the choices for animation style, but I'm not.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say it looks great. Maybe I'll be surprised. I don't know. The Lego Movie looked
Yeah.
like shit in the trailer, and I loved that. So
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
they're
I don't
marketing it for
expect
kids,
a
too,
lot
so.
for. Yeah, exactly. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know.
So-
I don't really want to see a kids movie Spider-Man, but I'll give it a chance, I guess.
It's something different. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Looks better
I
than
don't
Venom.
know. I don't think it'll be as good as like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, even honestly.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah, we'll see.
yeah, we'll see. It's a great
Yeah.
movie though.
Yeah, that was also Sony, I believe.
Do we really think Venom would be improved by being rated R or an 18 for us, Nico?
Yes, I
I
do.
don't think so.
You think so?
If I saw somebody get eaten in the movie, I would be a little bit happier. You know, don't
Okay.
show that shit off screen. If you're gonna make that a part of your plot, where it's like, oh no, this thing's controlling me and eating people, like, how are you supposed to feel anything if it just all happens off screen? You know, like, how are we supposed to
Yeah.
feel any of the shit that they're implying is happening in the movie? It's all just bullshit.
There's no blood even. At that
Yeah, it's
end
not even
scene, after
violent.
he eats that guy's head, there's no blood anywhere. It's like, did you really eat his head? What's going on?
It was so stupid. Yes, I do think it would be better if it was rated R, even just by a tiny bit. You could change like nothing else in the movie and it would still be slightly better.
Maybe mildly better.
Maybe out of something memorable that happens, as opposed to we're all struggling to even remember anything about it. So.
Well,
There's
yeah,
plenty
I
of
mean,
memorable scenes, like the female Venom. Remember? And then
Yeah.
they kiss, and
that was weird.
that was just
it
a
felt
weird
quite
scene.
pandering to me. Yeah.
I don't know what
Pandering
that
to
was.
what? People with weird
To, like,
fetishes?
Yeah, to like deviant art people.
That's the kind of thing. Like, what was everyone talking about when the film first came out? Was that weird scene? That's what everyone was like sharing pictures of it, and it was spreading around Twitter.
Yeah, I guess so.
I wouldn't be surprised if they just had some execs be like, "Look, let's just put some weird shit in there, man."
Yeah, and honestly, like, the way the movie ends, you have to imagine they're having some weird, kinky Venom sex after that, right?
Yeah.
Well, do you find it weird that Tom Hardy basically makes out with Venom? Sort
Yeah,
of, in
that's
that scene.
actually true now that I think about it.
Yeah.
It's the,
So
first,
there's-
it's the first gay kiss in a superhero movie. It's beautiful.
That's true.
See, Venom's a very progressive movie. I
Although,
know what? It's
does
a 3
Venom
out of
have a
5 now.
gender?
It's a good movie.
Does Venom have a
Um,
gender is the question.
That's true.
Maybe
Do
on the home
symbiotes
planet.
have genders? Because apparently they have social structures, and one of them can be such a fucking dweeb that they'd betray their species.
I fucking
Yeah,
hate this film.
you know what? It's really peaceful up here on top of this building. Like, I understand that concept of peacefulness. What were you doing? You were just on an asteroid? Like, what? What is your planet like? What are these social structures? Are you just blobs of goop?
Well, he also like hacked into Tom Hardy's mind, right? When he became part of him. So maybe he learned that vocabulary from Tom Hardy.
I'm
or
not sure how
Eddie
that
Brock.
works. Because
I'm
wasn't
not
he
either, but,
asking
like-
because he didn't know who his girlfriend was. He had to explain that to him.
Yeah,
so like
that's
it's
true.
not
I
like he
remember
can
that.
read
That was
everything in
weird.
his mind. Like I don't understand the rules that are at play here.
It's
didn't
things
establish
convenient
any.
for the plot.
It can just do anything.
Yeah,
Mhm.
whatever's convenient at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what we say is irrelevant because it made a ton of money, and we're going to get 58 Venom sequels. So strap in, folks.
It's gonna be great.
Audiences are loving it, man. It's currently sat at a 7.1 on IMDb from like nearly 100,000
Really?
votes. So that's very high.
Oh, so there's plenty of people on my side.
Yeah, man.
Well, I'm just trying to like vouch for them. Like, what do they see in this? And I do think, like, compared to these other really bad ones, it's not that bad, and it's somewhat entertaining.
I mean, yeah, it's not as boring as Suicide Squad. I don't think that there's that many movies that are. But
Well, even just Batman vs Superman too, or even Ant-Man this year. Ant-Man was fucking awful this year. I would see this 2 times over Ant-Man.
I don't know. You're naming a bunch of movies that I didn't even bother to watch, I guess. So,
Batman v Superman attempts more than this film.
Yeah, it's a little
Zack
more
Snyder's got
ambitious.
like yeah. Zack Snyder, he's all over the place, but you know, at least it was his vision, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got a
That's
couple
true.
of decent scenes in it.
Yeah.
You know, the
But
actual
overall,
fight
as
is
a
decent.
piece, it's way more jumbled and boring than than Venom.
It's more boring.
Uh-huh.
I won't give it much more than that.
The plot makes about as much sense too when you think about it. I mean, this movie at least didn't have like 20 scenes with Lois Lane trying to figure something out, doing some journalism. Like, oh my God, why the fuck are we focusing on her again? What is she gonna do against Lex Luthor? Nothing. She gets thrown off a building and that's it. At least this movie didn't have anything like that.
We're comparing a puddle of piss with a pile of dog shit, so
Yeah.
I love how there were no security cameras in his bio facility. I also
Yeah.
love how there was no sort of quarantine door. Like he breaks the glass and it's like, contaminant, blah, 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 over the intercom, but he just, like, runs out the door. You'd think you'd have, like, a locking door mechanism. Literally just
that
runs
scene
away.
was really
They have
funny.
enough money to hire all these goons to chase him on ATVs, nonetheless, as he's running
With
around
drones.
outside and climbs up a tree. Like, you have so much money. None for cameras, none for a locking security quarantine door. What? What kind of facility is this?
What about
That
the
doesn't
whole
make any sense.
reason? The whole reason Eddie Brock even winds up at that facility is so stupid and makes no sense.
I'm trying to remember.
I don't want to say because I guess.
We already did spoiler warning.
Oh, did we?
So-
Well, you know, what's that comedic actress's name who's in this movie for some reason?
Oh, yeah.
Jenny Slate. Jenny Slate.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like the goody one, and for some reason she calls up Eddie Brock and is like, "You need to come and report on this."
They're
Oh,
doing
yeah.
tests on homeless people.
She used her phone, which probably has camera capabilities, to call up Eddie Brock so he can come. It just makes no sense to me.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
true. And if there's no cameras in the building, then she wouldn't get caught recording it, I guess.
Yeah.
There's
Why
no
does she
reason
need
why Eddie
him
Brock
to
has
come?
to
Just,
be there
there was
to
one
leak the
security
story.
guard in there. and
She
she's
could
like,
she
"I'll
could just
distract
give
him."
the evidence to him. Really?
Yeah.
He could write the story without even being there.
But he had to be there so that he could break the glass and get the Venom suit.
That's what I mean. Like none of it. It's all just in service to like, right, we got to get to this point here. Let's just fuck it. Just do whatever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't need to be grounded in anything other than get to Venom. Venom funny. The end. Fight.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't understand. You're not allowed to talk about plot holes because without plot holes, we wouldn't have movie stories. All movies are equally as effortful, if that's a word, in their script writing
Yeah.
process.
What about the characters? What character learns anything? What arcs are there in this film?
The homeless lady learned something. She learned a real hard lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Venom's the
Brock-
only character that changes.
Yeah. Well, Venom's the main character, dude.
Venom's the only one, and his change is caused by nothing.
Oh,
just
I love that
seeing
line
Earth.
too. I changed my
I'm a
mind
loser.
about your planet. What made you do that? You did, Eddie. Like, what? You barely know me. What did I do? Like, if you possessed someone that wasn't a total fucking loser, then the planet would be dead. But since I'm such an idiot, it's like nobody likes you. So, you know what? I changed my mind. I'm not going to destroy your planet because now I can be your best friend. I just wanted a friend the whole time. Also,
Oh, what great
apparently
writing.
I don't need to eat your organs anymore. I just need to eat other people. Like, I thought that was the
No,
whole
they-
point of a
They
symbiote is that it
explain
slowly...
that one though, Adam.
They
If
did?
you remember, yeah, they
I
said
don't.
they need to find the perfect host, and if they have got like a perfect match, then they don't. They've got like the perfect chemistry, and they don't.
I thought it was
you
a
know,
part
they-
of the...
they
I guess
coexist.
maybe I'm going off of, like,
Remember they
what
like
I...
bringing like homeless people in, and
No,
none
I
of
know
them
that.
are merging properly.
I thought it was like a core concept to what Venom was in like the Spider-Man universe. Like I thought that part of Eddie Brock's character was that he was slowly getting eaten alive. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think
but-
so. I think it just makes
Okay.
him want to eat meat all the time. You know, be a
Mm.
cannibal in one of
Yeah.
the runs or something.
Yeah. I love the rocket launch. How it's like
Ugh.
ready to go. He's like 5 minutes. Launch this rocket. It's like we're going. He's like we're going to space. I'm gonna go in this rocket into space. In general, like where are you going? Do you have coordinates for where the alien planet is? Didn't they show up on like a meteor or something? Or weren't they like on an asteroid? I mean,
Did the symbiote start to separate from like the hosts when the rocket ship launched? Because like rocket launches are pretty loud, right?
yeah, you'd think
And
that if a
didn't, that's
747
what
flying above,
They did. Okay.
Yeah, that's-
I was,
that's
I was
what
trying
happened,
to
right?
remember if that did happen because I was.
No,
like,
I thought that was
don't
from
know.
Because
his
that's how they
girlfriend
beat Wright.
showing up. No, it was
With the-
remember Tom Hardy's girlfriend showed up, and then she played the thing over the speakers. I thought that's what did it, not the rocket launch. Right?
Maybe you're right.
Because she
Thing
showed.
over the
Remember,
speakers-
she
are
showed
they
up.
The thing over the
clinging onto
speakers
the
is
rocket?
louder than a rocket launch. I don't even remember
Well, she
that.
Are they
showed up
clinging
and
onto
she
the
turned the
rocket?
fucking knob.
And then
That was how she did it. She showed up and she was like, "I've got this," and then turned like I guess just brought some sort of sound device and then did it on
Let me
the
look this
spi-
up.
like I don't know how she even got there and figured it out, but Yeah, that's my understanding of it, is that it had nothing to do with the rocket launching, and she just showed up and did the speakers. Because then she stops for some reason, and then remember he gets stabbed after.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that was after the rocket blew up, or was it before?
That whole ending is just like a mesh of shit in my brain. I don't
It's
know.
one
We're
of
gonna have
the
to see this
worst
movie again.
superhero movie third act.
Riz Ahmed and what's the symbiote name? The Riot? Yeah.
Riot, yeah.
Riot and Riz Ahmed have this plan to go up into space in general so that he can tell his symbiote buddies that are somewhere in space that I guess maybe he has the coordinates for, and it's really convenient that he's able to get there in this 5-minute window when the Earth is at this exact rotation that he just decided on a whim he's going to go up into space. And it's just really convenient for him that he's going to that exact place. They decide to do this, and for some reason, instead of just going in the rocket, like you'd think that if the rocket's launching in 5 minutes, you'd want to be getting a spacesuit on or like near the rocket, you know, like getting inside, but you're in the control room. The rocket has the 5-minute timer, and he kills everybody in the control room for no reason. You could have just not let them know that you're a symbiote. Are you prepared for space travel? Do you have food? Do you have, like, anything that, like, what are you going to do up
He's
there?
got Riot. He's set.
But, I mean, like, Riot's just going to have to eat his organs or something. How long of a trip is this? He's not going to show up there in 5 minutes.
Maybe they
Are you
bring
gonna
some
bring,
people along with them.
He
Like,
didn't.
put him in
He climbed in
maybe
the
off
side
screen
of
he
the...
did.
Like, I don't know why he didn't just enter the spaceship from the normal door and not be a symbiote as he did it. Why did he have to climb up the side?
Because he had to
and
fight
enter
Riot. That's it.
There's like an automatic door on the side of the rocket. What the fuck was that? What?
We needed an action scene.
That is literally it. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
There needs to be a
That scene was
cool
so
fight on the
confusing.
side of a rocket.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, all the things you're saying, guys, would like adding character development and fleshing these things out would make the movie even longer than it is, and it's already 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Wait, what?
So-
Is it?
It's not 2 hours.
Yeah.
It was like it
It's
was
1
less
hour,
than 2 hours.
It's 1 hour 52.
I looked up Venom runtime, and it says 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Well, you've got
was-
the
and
wrong
it
information.
totally didn't feel
Ralph.
like 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Look
was
it up
not that
again.
long. I have it up right now.
Google's wrong. Yeah,
I've
you're
looked
right,
it up many
112.
times.
It didn't feel like 2 hours and 20 minutes. I was about to say. It
Maybe
felt
that's
pretty
why you like
short.
it so much. You're like, wow, that was 2.5 hours.
Now you can bring your score
But it was
down.
nice and short. Like, at least I was there, and I wasn't bored out of my mind for 2.5 hours like most of these. It was short and sweet.
Yeah, I mean, I was never bored. I got to say that. I was never impressed, though.
Neither was I.
I mean, like,
I love how when anyone praises this movie, it's like, well, it's not as bad as this, or oh, there are
Yeah.
worse things.
Yeah. It
seems that
It's
everybody
nothing-
that loves
nothing
it-
on
it's
its
not that
own
bad.
merit. Yeah,
No,
it wasn't
no,
as
no,
bad as I thought it was
absolutely.
going to be.
Sony's
Absolutely.
new strategy is just getting everyone to expect the biggest pile of shit, and then when it isn't
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
big of a pile of shit as
To me, that's
Suicide
just not
Squad,
good
people
enough.
are
It's
like,
not acceptable.
yeah, you know what, it wasn't bad.
They're going to remake Ghostbusters again soon, except it'll be
Oh, good.
slightly better than the last one, and everyone will love it. Watch.
Mm.
Mm.
Is it going to be a cast of all gays?
They'll all
Yep.
be Venom. They'll all
That's
be
it.
symbiotes this time.
Oh, an all symbiote Ghostbusters movie. That's progressive.
Yeah!
that
Oh my
fan art
God.
probably already exists.
We finally did it.
Oh, people would totally see that. They should do it. We should be working at Sony.
Yeah, man, it'd be fucking easy.
Oh yeah! Holy fuck!
Come up
to
with,
get
come
paid
up with
for these
ideas
scripts?
in 20 minutes.
Oh my god! But I don't know how I could live with myself. Really?
Oh, you'll find a way. Like, can you imagine writing something like this and get paid a fuck ton of money? These writers get paid a lot
Oh
to
yeah.
write this shit.
Of course.
It's total shit. It probably took them 10 minutes to write the whole fucking thing.
There's like 20 of them doing it anyway. Whereas that was the case for Amazing Spider-Man 2. But
Yeah, there's... Oh, I gotta look up how many writers there are.
It
Yeah,
has
I don't know.
3.
yeah.
Yeah?
No, 5 writers. No, sorry.
5 writers.
No,
Wait,
because
wait.
they're screenplay and story. Both
Oh,
have. It's,
okay.
it's three.
Yeah,
It's 3
like
people.
Stanley.
Mm-hmm.
3 screenwriters for this.
Yeah, so they wrote like 30 pages each, and that was it. They handed it in, first draft. Here's your Venom movie. They took their check and they ran away.
Why not?
Yeah, why
You know?
not? Ugh.
I just it just
As
felt
far
like
as a
a waste.
business decision, yeah, fine, it's good.
I guess. Like what upsets me a bit is that like it is a bad movie. Like I I don't know. Most people, even if they like it, they're just like okay with it. But we're
Yeah.
kind of voting with our wallets and saying, yes, please don't put any effort into your movies, Sony. Like, this is what you should be doing forever.
That's true.
And I
don't
guess
wanna
like we
encourage
all
the
paid
shit.
for it. I'm kind of
Mm-hmm.
surprised that it's like doing so well. You know?
I'm not.
It's a sad
As soon as I saw how well that first trailer did on YouTube, I just thought it's going to be huge. It's going to be
I
massive.
guess.
They eat it up. They love it.
They eat it up off screen.
And they see that Marvel logo at the beginning. I think people think this is part of the MCU.
Yeah.
I think
feel
general
bad
audiences
about that
think
too.
that. Yeah,
That's the only thing
so
about it that
manipulative.
That's the only thing about it I think is scummy, is that they're tricking people into thinking that this is part of it when it isn't.
And the fact they put no work into it whatsoever. I just feel sorry for all these
Some
poor,
people put no work into it whatsoever. I
these
think
poor,
some people did.
like, these poor animators and these really talented CG artists, they're put on this crap, and and that's what they have to do. It's so
But they
sad.
did their job, and they succeeded
Yeah.
at least 50% of the time.
They did their job for
Yeah.
not very much pay and shitty conditions and
Mhm.
no commission based on how successful the film is. And
What was that
Animators get
documentary
treated
about
like
the life
shit.
of Pi?
it's called Life After Pi. It's very
Yeah?
depressing.
That's a great movie.
It's on YouTube. Yeah.
You guys should all watch that because
Yeah.
it just shows how bad these CG guys get fucked over by the studios.
Yep.
It's sad, but I mean,
Sorry.
but that's like they're forced to make this. They probably had to do a lot of work on this and get paid like jack shit because most of this movie's CGI. Whether it's the Venom creature or just some backgrounds or even Tom Hardy's face and Michelle Williams' face, they do like all these things to actors' faces now to like smooth out their skin and
So
get rid
weird.
of pimples. It's a common thing. It happens in all of them now. And like I just feel
Get
bad
rid of
for 'em.
mustaches.
Yeah, get rid of mustaches. Oh god, that one that one didn't work out. It's a little, some of them were more noticeable than others.
Yeah, it just felt like a wasted opportunity. I'm not happy with it. I don't know if this is worse or better than I expected. I don't know if
Better.
I think it's about
It's worse
what I
than I
expected.
Really? I was expecting like I walked in like it was a fucking funeral. I was so miserable. and like I was actually that's what I'm saying. I was okay all the time.
Well,
I thought
maybe
it was
you
all
should
right.
just keep your expectations ridiculously low for every movie you see, and you'll just love it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's my rating. If you're forced to see it, you'll be okay.
We got to talk
Yeah.
about the end credits.
Hell yeah. Yes.
Which one?
Woody Harrelson as Carnage.
Oh.
As soon as I saw that wide shot of the establishing shot of the prison, I was like, "You God, really, guys?" The only other thing general audiences that might know about Venom is that there's a red one called Carnage. There
Yeah.
you go. He says, and he has to scream the
so
word
funny.
Carnage.
Ah, it was such a good
I'm gonna
punchline
bring
because I didn't
carnage.
know it was happening at first. Honestly, I was like, "Is that Carrot Top?" And then I realized it was Woody Harrelson. Like, I don't know anything about the Spider-Man comics really, but I know Carnage because I watched like the '90s show or whatever, whenever that was.
What's his character? Is he just like
He's
the red
just
Venom?
red
He's
Venom.
a psychopath. Who
Yeah,
gets
he's
the symbiote
crazier.
on.
Oh,
Mhm.
cool.
So he's
Okay.
like a super killer.
He's less easy to reason with than Venom. That's his character.
Would you guys want to see this version of Venom again, either in a sequel or with Tom Holland?
No.
This version, no.
Yeah, no way.
No,
I
yes.
don't think this
I
would even
prefer-
belong.
Really?
There's no way
Yeah.
you could throw Tom Holland in this shit.
But Homecoming's one of the most beloved Marvel movies at this point. Like
I
to
know.
just shove this Venom in, it would be comical. they'd ruin everything they'd
Oh
set
my
up.
god.
I don't know. I just think it'd be funny.
I don't think Marvel would let Sony do that.
No,
I don't
I
think
no
they'd
way.
be
know
allowed.
either. We'll see.
Absolutely no way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of restrictions they have. Because Sony owns Spider-Man, but they kind of did like a collaborative thing with Marvel where it's like, okay, well, maybe you can use this character, but Marvel does all the writing, I guess. Like, there's no way Sony had a big part in that. They're just earning some money just so they could be a part of the same universe.
Maybe the deal was we'll give you Spider-Man, but you have to take our characters from our Sony Venom movie and use them in your Marvel Cinematic
No
Universe.
way.
Maybe that's the
There's
deal. They
no
No
way.
way.
Maybe.
They wouldn't do that.
Dude, to get
They're not
Spider-Man.
that stupid.
If that was true, Tom
But to
Holland
get
would
a
have been in
character
this
like
film.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Maybe. Or
They
maybe
would've had
they're
Tom
just,
Holland in this film, you're right.
They're hedging their bets. They're like, let's try out this Venom with Tom Hardy, and if it's good, we'll throw him in with Spider-Man in the next movie. Maybe
No
that's what
way.
they're thinking.
That's not
Honestly,
gonna
we don't
It would
know.
make no
We don't
sense.
know.
It would make no sense.
I'm willing to bet money that that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
as well.
Let's bet
$5,
right now.
Ralph?
USD or Canadian?
That's a
whatever.
good question. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
USD.
Okay.
$5.
$5.
But how
Let's
much
do it.
after how long?
I bet 100
100.
that
To
this
Ralph.
Venom will never be in the MCU.
100. All right. Let's do
$100.
50. Let's do 50. Let's meet in the middle.
Okay, 50. By what
50.
date? There has to be an endpoint because in 50 years I can't be fucked over here.
Okay, let's say by 2022. There has to
Okay.
be a Venom. It has to at least be announced.
2022. Like
Okay.
4
okay.
years from now.
Uh-huh.
Really? That's a while. By that
4
point,
years
like,
for it to be announced?
okay.
Mark your calendars, people. I'm gonna get $50.
By this
Mhm.
date, so October 16th, 2022.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Someone's got to keep track of this.
Yeah, somebody else. We'll have a subreddit post in 4 years and go, oh yeah. Like the podcast isn't even going anymore. It's like
Yeah.
it's a dead subreddit, and then one.
We're all
post.
doing other things. The value of money's inflated so much that $50 is like nothing.
Right.
Whatever.
Well, I'll let you guys participate in your bet.
Mm-hmm.
I think you know what? Yeah, I'll stay with my $5 if you're comfortable
Okay.
losing. You'll
Okay,
be
so-
losing $55
Pussy.
in 4 years. What do you mean?
Alright.
Well, I don't know. It's just it's the point of me
Come on, dude,
betting with
we
a
rank
friend
in a lot of
is
YouTube money.
to be confident about my opinions. It's not about money. I don't really care about whether I win money or not.
But if you're so confident in your opinion, you should put $50 down.
But I don't want to take. I like the higher the money is, then it's like, oh, I'm taking that from a friend. You know, I don't want to.
It's
I like
alright.
to play with. I like to play with.
It's
small
funny.
amounts.
It's funny to prove people wrong.
Uh-huh.
is.
You can take my money.
Yeah, but I can prove
You have
you
my blessing.
wrong just as easily with $5 as 50.
That's true. All right.
Okay. Mark your
That
calendars.
Canadian logic. See? This is why Americans want to make lots of money.
Capitalist.
Yeah, I guess so.
Capitalism.
Yeah.
Amen.
Hmm
Anyway,
You've
Is that
also
it for
got
Venom?
more poor people, but
can we move on to a good movie?
I guess so. What would you give it out of 10, Ralph? What did you say?
Like
Or
a
out of 5? 4 out of 10?
4. Yeah. 4 out of
Okay, not 4 out of 5. That would be
Not all 4. Like 2 out of 5 if it was out of 5.
So even though you're like arguing with us that it's like not bad, I mean like that's below average still.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I'm saying
I
it's not
consi-
the worst superhero movie I've ever seen. It's
know.
it's better than the worst ones, but it's not as good as the good ones.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
where it is.
I'd probably give it a 2. I mean, I enjoyed it more than most movies I would give it 2, I guess, but it's just it just felt like a slap in the face, you know?
Yep. It's a good way to
It
describe
was
it.
just I've said this about a billion times, just a wasted opportunity, and that's how I feel about it, I guess.
Yep.
I love how the car chase scene, those same SUVs just kept catching back up to him, even though he was on a motorbike and he clearly got away from them like 50 times. How did that happen? Anyway, yeah, I guess let's stop talking about Venom. Venom! Denim!
Get him.
Gonna go get him, Venom.
Eminem sucks. I used to love him. I still love his old material, but
Yeah, he used to be good.
yeah. It's funny how he just keeps trying to like reclaim those glory days. And now all of
I
his
don't think
albums
so.
are
I mean,
yeah, his albums are about how nobody likes his albums now. That's
well, I
that's
haven't
like
listened
that's
to
what he
his
writes
stuff,
about.
so-
He's like mad
Ugh.
that critics don't like his previous album. That's what his new album is.
Really? Well, then he
Yeah.
should stop fucking doing the soundtrack to Venom. What do you want me to tell
Yeah.
you, Eminem? Who's gonna take you seriously when you're in a movie going Venom, Venom, Venom?
Yeah. It's the kind of shit that old Eminem would make fun of.
Right?
You know?
Yeah,
That's-
yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
All right, you want to introduce your movie, Alex?
Yes. So last episode, I suggested we watch Pink Floyd, The Wall. I hope we've all caught up on that one. Pink Floyd, The Wall is directed by Alan Parker, written by Roger Waters. It's kind of an accompanying piece based off the rock opera released by Pink Floyd a few years beforehand, and it's kind of a experimental, crazy animation / live action look into this troubled rock star character who's gradually descending into madness. What do you guys think of this film?
Spoiler warning, by the way, everybody. If you want to watch the
yeah.
movie, we're gonna spoil the shit out of it. I thought it was great. I really liked it.
I did
it's something that I wish I could have watched a second time before recording this, but I was very busy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But it is something that, like, I can already tell it's one of those things that you would definitely get a benefit out of it, because, like, even near the end of it, it's, starting to piece together the like symbolic purposes of
Yeah, I got
film.
way more out of it this time watching it from when I've seen it before.
Was this only your second time watching it?
It was only my second. The last time I saw it was a long time ago, and I've watched a lot of my favorite songs and sort of set pieces from the movie a lot of times just on YouTube, detached from the film itself. So it was nice revisiting it as a whole.
Yeah, it's like a really long music video.
Basically, yeah. I think that's a fair assessment. Because before, I don't know how familiar you guys are with the album, The Wall, if you've listened to it before or that familiar. But I'd listened to it quite a few times, but I'd never quite twigged what it was exactly about. But now I fully understand, fully get it. And this film really does help contextualize where Roger Waters was when he came up with this album and what he was trying to achieve with it.
Yeah, it definitely, it's a worthy extension to the album. It adds a lot to it and makes it much better.
Yeah, it's not just a music video, because a lot of it is rejigged, re-recorded. There are songs that aren't on the finished album. So there was a conscious effort to kind of mold it more into a cinematic format.
Mm-hmm. I really appreciate that about it. When I listen to Pink Floyd, like, throughout my life and being a teenager, smoking weed, listening to it, it was like I was always thinking, like, why doesn't someone just make a movie just with this album? Or like I was thinking about Dark Side of the Moon or something.
Mm-hmm.
So this was like a dream come true to see this. And like, it was so well done. And I obviously have to see it again to get more out of it. Although I do think I got the gist of it. But it was so well made on a technical level. The animation is fucking incredible. It looks great. The lighting is great. Like, the amount of time they put into getting all these extras and sets, it's really commendable.
It's really impressive.
The amount of effort they put in. Yeah.
Well, I've done a bunch of research on this movie, and it has one of the most fascinating kind of backstories to it for me, because nearly everyone who is involved with this, all the major players, hate this film. They hate everything it represents. Yeah, Roger Waters himself says it's too depressing, doesn't like it. The art director, what's his name? Gerald Scarfe. He doesn't like it either. The director especially hates it. He had a horrible time making it because famously Roger Waters around this time had a bit of an ego about him, so he kept clashing on choices with the director. So there's this really like damaged production that just happened to, and the only people that really like it are the fans. I was reading all about it.
That's kind of funny. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's genuinely fascinating.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, it is. I wonder if that's what made it work. Is that
I think
these,
so.
like, you had these really creative, aggressive people all butting heads, and you got this masterpiece out of it.
Yeah,
Well,
like Roger Waters
I wonder if that's why.
Roger Waters wrote the movie with the idea of him being the main character, played by Bob Geldof in the end. But the director and all the screen tests with him were like, "No, we can't use you." So then
You suck.
that led to that decision, and all these creative things that come from all these clashes kind of wound up being the best result for the movie in the end.
Yeah. Were there any members of Pink Floyd, like, in the movie? I'm trying to remember.
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah. I love
don't
that
think so.
about it, too. It wasn't like this ego trip.
Well,
Or,
yeah,
like,
that's the
when
thing.
you
Like,
said Adam, it was like this long music video. Like, I love it is a long music video, and I love that
Yeah.
about it. But it's not like
I
this.
wasn't trying to discredit it by saying that.
Oh no, I totally understand what you're saying. But like, it wasn't this ego trip. It was like, we're just gonna take this amazing music and tell a story with it, and we'll just get an actor to play Pink. Like,
Yeah.
I love that about it.
Yeah.
I really love the animation style. That's just something that I would like to see more of.
It's very
like,
impressive.
I love traditional animation. I love kind of like psychedelic kind of animation. I almost wish that more of the movie was animated, but I can
It's only got
understand.
about 15 minutes of animation in it. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish that I saw more animation in it, honestly, because those were probably my favorite sequences. Were all the animated bits.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, easily. Yeah.
And they were broken up really well too. Like, right when it started to get old, it would go back to live action, and right when that got old, it would go to something else, back to the animation.
I don't know what your experience was discovering this movie, Alex, or discovering Pink Floyd, or like what came first. How did you find this movie? Just kind of.
So, I've been into Pink Floyd for a while now, mostly because of my parents. So I would have seen this movie when I was way younger because of them. They would have shown it to me, or told me about it or something like that. And my brother as well, he's also massively into Pink Floyd, and he 3 or 4 years ago got me into them, and he's always been talking to me about them and about the whole history. I've been meaning to revisit it for a while, so this was a great excuse for it, because he's really into it, and he had the DVD that I could borrow and stuff. So
yeah, I think I've listened to a decent amount of them just by proxy, just because my dad and my brother listened to a lot of classic rock at one point. I've never listened to like a full album, but I've obviously heard a lot of the tracks that are in this movie. I think the one track is literally just called "The Wall," right? Like "We Don't Need No Education." Is that one just called "The Wall"? What? I don't know. That one.
It's not called "The Wall." It's called "Another Brick in the Wall," I think.
Okay, yeah, that one probably had the like. By the time that happened in the film, I felt like I had already pretty much got every symbolic purpose from that section just by listening to the track itself. Like, that one was one of the more straightforward ones. And
But the film has
really
basically
liked...
no dialogue, does it? Basically, everything is delivered either through visuals and visual metaphor, or paying attention to the lyrics in the songs themselves.
I definitely watched the movie with subtitles just so I could have a better understanding of the lyrics.
Really?
I don't know about you guys.
I'm so
No,
familiar with the songs, so I
I'm
know
gonna
all the
do that
lyrics.
again,
So.
Yeah, because I feel like that added a lot to the experience, because when someone's singing, it's not always the easiest to tell exactly what's being said. Like, some things are pretty clear, but definitely
next time I watch it, I'll
subtitles
do that.
help the movie.
So, seeing as you guys weren't all that familiar with the songs already, what did you think this film was about then? Because I know all the history and all of what it represents. So I want to know what you guys took away from that specifically.
I guess the overarching kind of statement being made is, like the idea of a wall that you build around yourself, and the idea of what kind of people in your life help you build that, and what kind of bubble you can put yourself into, or things along those lines, I guess. And I guess there's some more direct imagery, like kids on the assembly line, like, that's pretty straightforward about like education system, and like, his professor that refused to accept any creative part of his brain and wanted to mold him into this factory constructed idea of what society expects, so it's all just kind of like a like internal kind of introspective look at how you turn into the person that you are, I guess, throughout your life.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you understand?
Did you get the same, Ralph? Yeah.
Yeah, basically. I had more of a historical perspective with it, because I know, like, after World War II, Britain wasn't doing too hot, and there was a lot of like retaliation against the system, and this kid's father in the movie died in World War II, so I'm guessing he has some like harsh feelings about the war and his government and what his government thinks of him.
Mhm.
And I guess it's kind of about like retaliation against that. I don't know. I only saw it once, so God help me, but that's what I got out of it anyway. Something like that.
What makes it really interesting is that it's not just focused on one thing in particular. Like it is an internal film, but it's also very external. Like it does make statements on politics, like the British flag being turned into a bloody crucifix. I thought that imagery was like brilliant. I really loved that.
And all the neo-Nazis and stuff towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, like some of them are more straightforward than others. Some of them are more subtle.
The Hammers
some of
as
them are
well,
more obvious.
being like a
exactly,
parody of Nazism and
yeah, and it works well with hammers. Because
very well, yeah.
Like that they serve one purpose. And everything else is a nail is to get things flattened and in line, and anything sticking out you hit, right? And that's exactly what was happening in with the lyricism of him being like, a Jew over there and a fag over here, get rid of him. And it's like that's literally just hammers beating in the nails that are sticking out in a way.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. So Roger Waters came up with the idea originally when he was touring before this album was obviously written, and he had a really bad experience, and he felt this kind of divide growing between him and his creative vision, and because he was selling out these stadiums after the success of albums like Dark Side of the Moon and everything, and he was feeling that people were just showing up to these huge arenas for nothing more than the beer and just to dance and go crazy. So he felt that there was this literal wall being built between him and the way his audience was accepting his art, and like he felt like he wasn't being listened to in that respect. So combining that with elements of his life and a former band member called Syd Barrett, who had a really troubled kind of experience in the band, who the character of Pink is largely based on, the scene where Pink shaves himself completely. That's based off something the previous band member, Syd Barrett, who was their lead guitarist, who named the band, did in real life. They were at some kind of party and he just vanished and came back completely hairless, as if nothing was wrong. He was very mentally ill, and he left the band and was replaced by the other, the lead guitarist. I'm blanking on his name right now, but
Angus Young.
No, not Angus Young.
I know.
Yeah, so I think either Roger Waters or Syd Barrett's dad was killed as well in World War II, so that's where that comes from. And just the whole battle of building the wall around himself, I think, was quite a literal feeling that Roger Waters felt as a direct response to fame and how kind of isolating it can be. So he kind of wrote a story with all these different elements around that kind of idea.
Oh, that's cool. There's a lot of different ways you can approach it and find some.
Yeah, there's not one
correct
correct answer necessarily. That's just where the stem of the idea comes from.
Interesting.
I love how it manages to still be such a very clearly personal film, despite how many voices were in the mix, despite how many people were involved in the production. Despite it not being just like one voice deciding what the film would be, like a lot of these projects are. It's not like a Jodorowsky film. Like he has all the control there,
Yeah.
So many different voices, and yet it still manages to be a very personal product by the end of it, very clearly.
I think it's saved by the music. Without the music and how well structured it was from the beginning, because all the songs were obviously written beforehand and existed before this movie was made, it's kind of the anchor that pulls all these other different creative elements together to make the cohesive whole.
Oh yeah,
which is very
You
interesting.
can't have this movie without it.
That the music was all made, well, most of it at least, right? Was all made before the film started production. What do you know if the album was written with the intention of it being turned into a film at some point?
As far as I'm aware, it wasn't. But it seems clear to me that when he was writing it, he had a very strong vision with what he was imagining with it. I could be wrong on that, but from what I understand, that is where he came from.
It was only like a few years beforehand, right?
Yeah.
It didn't really take that long for it to get turned into a film, and you have to assume the production on this would be a few years. So
Yeah, well, the album
All
came
that
out in
animation especially.
78, I think. Maybe 79, and the movie came out in 82. So
yeah, I really enjoyed the music. I really enjoyed the lyrics. I felt like, just those aspects alone, and I can't even say alone. Like you need the visuals too, but like it's something that I could watch again pretty soon.
Mhm.
I don't even really need to give this one that much time. I could watch it again. It's not even like all that long. It's a fairly low
No,
commitment, and it's
no,
just a
it's only
really
like an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
it's just a really interesting experience, and it's very unique.
Super unique, yeah.
There's some parts that are kind of bizarre, but they're still entertaining. Like the flower fucking scene is a little
Mhm.
weird, but
Yeah, that's a great scene. Do you guys know if there's any other movies like this?
I was going to ask you guys because like this is such a unique, strangely structured like idea for a film.
Like,
Yeah.
the closest thing I could think to it is like the Beatles movies, but those are totally different. And those are way more
Across
comedic than
the
this.
Universe with Jim Sturgis.
I haven't seen that
Yellow
one. I
Submarine,
was referring to the
you
older
mean?
ones. Yeah, like Yellow Submarine and what's the there's some
Across
other
the
one.
Universe isn't
Help.
great.
Yeah, I
Helter
don't.
Skelter.
I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen those old ones, so, but
Mm.
I'm aware of them at least. I felt like there were some kind of like Holy Mountain-esque vibes to it in ways.
Mhm.
I really love visual metaphor. I love when, a feeling or an idea can be described not literally, but in a metaphorical way where I feel like I almost get more out of it in that sense if you're trying to make like a statement. If it's
Mhm.
done through like visual metaphor,
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
I get closer to the feelings of what someone's trying to communicate, and I feel like that's very important.
And it's inherently less clumsy than just having characters be like, man, Nazis are bad.
Yeah,
Sucks.
yeah,
Just explaining it. Yeah. Like
Yeah, exactly. It's
Another
way
movie
more
we talked
striking.
about earlier.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
In a way, the film has more freedoms in that sense, narratively.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's ultimately an extremely simple story told in a very complex way. I was looking through a lot of like reviews from people and seeing the general vibe around what people think about this movie, and there are a lot of people who don't like it because of how kind of weird and out there and how the narrative just it doesn't really explain anything beyond you
Yeah.
having to put pieces together. But all of the pieces are there. I found it really interesting the way. Like I've heard the album so many times, but watching this film really put a clear like, oh, that's what that song's about. Oh, that's what that meant at the beginning. That's referring to that, and it's like all these different
Mhm.
threads that are given context, and it adds so much more meaning to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But like I listened to the album before, and it's a great album. But like to listen to a long album and consistently keep track of the themes and the meaning and not just
Exactly.
give yourself in and enjoy the beat, which is what I usually do. It's hard.
Mhm. Exactly.
And
yeah.
having this visual companion piece to go with it makes it like what you said, Alex. It makes it so much easier to digest.
Yeah, I feel the same way about that Venom song from Eminem. Like,
Yeah,
because it was in the
I feel that way
I was
too.
able to get everything out of the song so much better seeing it in the end credits of Venom.
Yeah, I really didn't understand Venom's motivation, but after that song, I did.
Did you guys see the
Funny.
music video where he like possesses a dog? I'm sorry.
No.
Oh my god, no, I haven't.
Okay.
Is it as good as The Wall?
Okay, we're not going back. We're not going back to Venom. I'm sorry.
It all ties back to Venom.
Mm. It's all
man.
connected. It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Please.
What did you guys think of the audio mixing in the film?
I thought it was good.
I didn't notice anything particularly noteworthy. I don't know. Did you watch it on like a big surround sound or something?
Yeah, it had a lot of quiet and a lot of loud. I felt like I was
Yeah?
adjusting my volume fairly often. It
Oh,
might
well,
have just
that's
been
the-
the
They
copy
mixed
I
it
had.
for a theater. When you mix for a theater, the dynamic range is really high.
Yeah.
And when you try to do it in a home theater, it's just not the same. A lot of these movies get fucked over when they release them on
Yeah.
DVD. Now they fix it a little. They like compress the audio a bit to make it better because they understand lots of people watch movies at home. But movies like old movies, they don't do that shit. And it's
Yeah.
sad.
Mhm.
It's irritating. It's only on DVD too. They've never remastered it or
Yeah.
done anything
I
to
would
it.
have loved
So
an HD copy of this.
This needs like a Criterion or some shit. Really?
yeah,
Yeah.
it really,
I can't
really
believe there's
does.
no
Pink
Blu-ray.
Floyd. Like, this isn't a small band. This is one of the most famous bands
Yeah.
of all time.
It's
Like,
one of the
ignore
best-selling
the fact
albums.
that it's like
Yeah.
a band. Like, this is what when you recommended it at the end of the last podcast episode, I was certain that there was some sort of Blu-ray I could buy because there's,
Mhm.
It's Pink Floyd.
not
Yeah,
just Pink
exactly.
Floyd, but like this is supposed to be a classic.
Yeah.
That's what my
Yeah.
understanding was, is that this is like a classic film that like most people have watched or something.
Mhm.
That was my understanding, but apparently not. What the hell?
Yeah.
It needs some sort of a
Maybe it is because
better
all
release.
of the
I
people
have
higher
no
up
idea.
in charge of creative just didn't like it, so there's just no interest on that level for anyone
needs
to go back
something.
to it again.
I think Criterion actually has like a forum where you can suggest potential releases if
really?
they can acquire the
Oh,
rights or
boy.
something.
Well, everyone from Sardonicast, send them
Yeah.
a message.
Yeah. Send them your hate
Yeah, I'll
mail.
find that form.
No, don't do that.
and also you need to go to Netflix and request Nanolan and Kenny versus Spenny, because Netflix
Already
has a
did.
form too. Nice.
Yeah, we need Kenny versus Spenny on Blu-ray. That's what we need.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a very purposeful and very enjoyable and very artistically presented film. Like it hits all of the beats that I like, and I'm excited to see it for a second time for sure.
Yeah, me too. I hope to get more out of it a second time.
What was your favorite scene?
Oh, mine is the freak out moment in the I guess his apartment when Bob Geldof just loses it, because that's one of my favorite songs as well from the album, and I can't believe I didn't put it together that when I've been listening to that song, it is him just like having a breakdown, because it's like he's found out his wife is cheating on him, and he's totally losing.
Oh yeah, when he's
Mhm.
like, "Would you like to fly? Learn to fly or whatever."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Get between the
that's a good
sheets.
scene.
Yeah, there's loads of good stuff
Yeah.
in that.
That was bizarrely morbid and like weirdly comedic in a way.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Ralph?
The animations were my favorite.
Mhm.
Reminded me a lot of Fantastic Planet. In the Fantastic Planet
Yeah.
review, you mentioned this.
Yeah,
And yeah, I thought about it a lot during the animations. I thought they were excellent.
I like the trial one at the end where he's putting
Mhm.
himself on
Yeah.
trial.
Mm-hmm.
That's very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I think my favorite scene is the one where there's I think he's in his apartment still. He's in front of a TV or something, and then we get a wide shot, and the wall is just like the room is just huge, and then that
Yeah.
big plant monster
yeah.
comes in,
Mhm.
and it has like a shadow being animated on the wall, and it's like
yeah,
live action and animation at once,
was
and
beautiful.
I really loved
Mhm.
that scene. I loved the music in that scene too. That was probably my favorite moment.
It's
of the
just some
movie.
striking imagery in this. I love the shot of him on the couch, and there's like the cigarette in his hand, and
Mhm,
like the
that's
ash
great.
hanging off of it is like ridiculous. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like 2 feet of ash hanging off
Yeah.
the cigarette. I love that too.
You know what I found kind of funny, kind of interesting,
Mu-
is that this movie kind of did the faces in the train scene from Jacob Ladder first and better.
yeah, I noticed that
Oh
too.
yeah.
Yeah,
It reminded me of it.
yeah. When that happened, I was like, hey, this is like better than Jacob's Ladder did it. You can't even give Jacob's Ladder credit for it anymore.
I guess not. Oh man.
Yeah, it's really creative. It doesn't get repetitive in terms of its presentation. Like they constantly keep it varied, whether it be an animation sequence or like a creative transition or just a camera movement. It's just like it never stops with new
Yeah.
tricks. It has up its sleeve.
I will say some of the parts felt just a tiny bit repetitive. I guess in a more contained way though. Like they reused a lot of animation. Like
Mhm.
the hammer scene was the most noticeable. With they just kept showing the same shots over and over. But I can understand
but
for like
it-
budgetary
I
reasons.
think that was just
it's
to sync
expensive.
with the song. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it was to communicate a point too. Not that they could have gotten a different angle. I mean, they could have, but the repetition of
marching,
imagery
yeah.
was very purposeful to me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
like it didn't feel like a budgetary restraint. I will agree that like, how long is it? An hour and a half? Like
Hour and a half.
exactly.
Yeah.
And like I think for being an hour and a half music video, it's as good as you can do it. I do think it could get a little old or tiring watching something this long that has no dialogue in it. But I do think at the end of the day it's rewarding, and I would definitely sit through it again. I would never call it boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't
Did you
boring.
guys feel the length a little?
No.
Maybe a bit. I'm more familiar with the album though, and like
Okay.
that probably helps knowing the kind of structure of it and the pace and the story behind it. So it's for me, it's almost like just putting the record on in a way and just listening through the whole thing. So
Did you feel like the 7-Up product placement at the beginning was like kind of ironic in a way? Like even if it wasn't
totally
there to be ironic, but it was still kind of presented in kind of like a
they
like
told
a
them it wasn't
dystopian
ironic.
kind of way, you know?
Yeah.
I thought
They
there's a
didn't mention
bunch
that
of
part.
like product placement
Like
stuff like
Coca-Cola
that.
was in there too.
Yeah, it's the Coke one. Yeah, and when the neo-Nazis are kind of breaking into all these places, they kind of make fun of all the advertising by just calling shops like whatever the name of the shop is in the blandest writing possible. Yeah. Did you guys know the neo-Nazi scene? They actually hired real neo-Nazis for it for some reason.
What? Really?
I'm serious.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Because they found
authentic.
people that would be comfortable
More
doing the
authentic.
fucking salute or what?
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know what their
That's-
reasoning was, but they did it, and as a result,
they seem very passionate about that salute. I gotta say.
like after this film came out, this group of like actual neo-Nazis called like the Sledgehammers or something kind of formed a group because of it.
Holy shit.
Kind of missing
That's
the point entirely
funny.
and showing how goddamn stupid they are. But yeah.
Wow.
This is what I mean.
That's
It's like
bizarre.
so fascinating to me.
But like the movie's so vague that I could see why a neo-Nazi would take it and go, this justifies my point of view.
Well, yeah, because you just see someone being hateful, and it's like, that's what I think. I'm gonna do that now.
It's like someone watching Wolf of Wall Street and then like not thinking about the ending and being like, yeah, I want to be rich. He had a lot of fun. You know, like any one of those like success and then failure stories, they only think of the success. It's like, man, I want to be a gangster. Even though every single movie, it's like
the point of Wolf
their
of Wall
life
Street
turns
is
to
that
shit.
he basically gets away with it. That's like he's this.
Maybe I
piece of
should
shit
think
guy.
of a better example, like Blow.
Yeah, Blow's a better example of that. Yeah.
No, I found like a bunch of threads on like Reddit and forums and stuff of people like, should I get a hammer like tattoo or whatever? And people were like, no, don't do that. It could really be interpreted the wrong way, and that kind of thing, because of what the imagery represents.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, just get a swastika instead.
Yeah.
It's more to the point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Less room for interpretation.
Yep.
I really loved it. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
I would like to see it again before I give it like a 5-star rating. So I'm gonna give it a 4 for now. But like, it's really well made, really entertaining, and you could tell a lot of talented people put passion and hard work into it. So that's all you could ask for.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Super unique. You can't really see anything like it, and it's a real treat for like Pink Floyd fans. There's lots of little Easter eggs. When the teacher takes his like poetry off him, those are all lines from other Pink Floyd albums.
Oh yeah,
beforehand.
like the Money or something.
Yeah, there are references to "Wish You Were Here" and "Dark Side of the Moon" and stuff. Yeah, it's a shame it's so hard to sort of find and appreciate because it is only DVD quality and it is just begging to be upraised in some way.
Yeah,
I know it's super annoying. Yeah,
yeah, it's upsetting in a way.
Yeah, it is. It was really annoying.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it a second time. Don't know when I will, but I could at any point, I guess. I'm giving this one an 8 out of 10 for now.
Yeah, I think I'd give it an 8 or a 9, probably. Yeah.
You're going back to the out of 10 rating?
Well, whatever, because you just double it, don't you? Whatever you give it on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
I haven't rated it yet because I wanted to talk with you guys about it first before deciding properly. But
8 or 9 out of 5?
8 or 9 out of 5, yeah.
Yeah, we're all in the same ballpark.
Pretty much, yeah.
Awesome.
Good movie.
We're all perfectly aligned. No nails sticking out on this podcast that we have to hammer down.
We thought more about Venom.
Well, I exaggerated it a bit to make it more entertaining. I mean, yeah.
All right. I guess want to move on to questions.
Yeah, I got
do it,
plenty of
boy.
questions here. If we're ready, guys. So if you guys want to leave your own questions for us to answer on the next episode, head over to the Sardonicast Reddit, where Ralph will leave a funny post, and I'll go through and take a look at some of the best questions. So the first one comes in from, it's like a nice Halloween sort of flavored one, from Zach Squatch, who says, what are some of the best makeup/practical effects you've ever seen?
Ooh, The Thing.
The Thing.
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
I think that's
Jinx, buy me a
number one.
fucking
Everyone's has to say The Thing. Does The
The
Thing
new
have the
Thing,
best?
the
Does it
remake.
have? Yeah, the CG film one. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That film upsets me so much because they did do some like really impressive practical effects for it, but they just covered it all with CG.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's such a
Studio was
sad
full of
story.
fucking morons.
Yeah,
Really.
they genuinely thought no one would like it and it would look
It's one
old.
of the most depressing behind the scenes stories ever.
Oh, I know, it's so sad. But is the original Thing? Has that got some of the best practical effects like work? Full stop. Do you think?
Yeah.
Wasn't
I've
that
never
one
seen that,
technically a remake also?
Yeah, it is. It's a
Yeah,
remake
so the
of
1980s is what
The Thing from
we all
Another
know. We're
Planet.
talking
It's in
about
1950.
the 1980s.
Oh,
anyway.
sorry. Yeah.
And yeah, best practical effects I think I've ever seen. I'm trying to think of something better.
Yeah, I'm
I like
scanning
the-
my Blu-ray shelf right now. Let's see.
I like the practical effects in Jurassic Park. I like the
Ooh,
Yeah.
The T-Rex scene in particular is very impressive to me. The way they kind of mingle it between being a huge practical model and with bits of CG is really well done.
Mm-hmm. Other ones.
We'll get there.
It's sad that it's kind of quite rare. I guess the Terminator films have some good practical effects in them.
Oh, yeah, well, a lot of good horror movies have good practical effects in terms of like the kills, you know.
Like Nightmare
Friday
on
the
Elm
13th
Street.
Nightmare on
Yeah.
Elm Street, Friday the 13th has some pretty good ones.
I don't know.
Suicide Squad.
There's better than those. I mean,
yeah,
like,
won an Oscar
Yeah, won Oscar for best makeup. So
for that fucking. Yeah, he's got a bat symbol with a knife through it on his arm. Best makeup. What a bunch of hacks.
what about more on the
Yeah.
makeup side of things then? Because
Yeah,
makeup
Makeup doesn't-
side.
makeup
Oh,
doesn't
well,
really get the credit.
fucking Synecdoche, New York had great makeup for like the
Mhm.
aging of the characters and tied together with the performances. Like it's not all that often where like younger actors can play older people and it feels so fucking real.
mm,
Like that was
Or
a
the
huge
makeup
thing
looks
there.
good. The makeup looked great in that movie, and like most movies that try to do old age makeup, like I'm thinking Watchmen or something, it looks terrible. It looks so
Yeah.
fake.
or like Harry
And-
Potter or some shit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
Harry Potter,
Mr.
It's like, oh,
Nobody. I
they
wasn't
put some
convinced.
pubes on their chin. Great. How's he supposed to be older? The fuck is that? The Star Wars movies too. I mean, that's one of the best things.
Of
about
course,
it,
of
is
course,
the
yeah.
makeup and the practical effects are terrific.
Yeah. Synecdoche,
guess
New
that's
York
it.
is my answer for makeup. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh
Egg
man,
Frenzy.
fuck. Ah, sorry. Go on. I was gonna mention some crazy fucking thing I found out about a movie coming up, makeup wise, but I almost don't want to say it until you guys see it. It's not out yet,
Okay.
so I'm just
All
gonna
right. I have
because
one
I almost
answer.
feel like I shouldn't have read that article. But all right,
Really?
just next question. Yeah, somebody posted it in my
I wanna know the
subreddit.
movie now.
Don't know what I'm. Oh, do you do?
Well,
Should I?
Is
Nah.
it the Lars
I
von
don't know.
Trier movie?
No.
I don't know why, because so many movies come out. I want to like find it and watch it.
There's something coming
Yeah.
out in the next month or two that you'll probably be seeing anyway, I guess.
Will it come out in
But
the
I
UK?
learned something pretty crazy about. Yeah, you know what? I think it's probably going to come out in the UK. Yeah, I don't see why not. But there's a crazy thing I learned about something in the movie.
It's so
that-
vague. I really want to
I
see
know.
It, whatever it is.
I love
That's
these
why I
vague
don't wanna say it.
answers.
I don't want to be spoiled, but I want to know what movie to see.
I feel like I wanted to watch the movie without knowing that, and then find that out later. I'll make sure you know about it.
Okay, cool.
I have one more answer. King Kong from 1933. All stop motion. Looks fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Beats
true.
CGI any day. I love that.
Or like Jason and the Argonauts, the skeletons.
Oh yeah, the Jason and the Argonauts. What's the name of the guy who made those? Ray Harryhausen?
So, yeah, I
his
think
name?
so.
Yeah, he
Yes.
he was good at that shit. It's a shame the computers came and took over. He didn't know how to use a computer. Poor guy.
Well, you know
His
they were going to
career
do
kinda ended.
Jurassic Park with stop motion originally.
Oh, well, that wasn't a good. That wouldn't have been good.
You never know.
Anyway, Egg Frenzy TV says movies that would be better with an R rating, apart from Venom.
Ah.
All the Wolverine movies.
Plenty of them, honestly. Fuck.
Yeah, Wolverine.
Any movie where I'm upset that there isn't real consequences. You know?
Dunkirk for me.
Fucking The
Dunkirk,
Hunger
yeah.
Games even. Come on.
Yeah, The Hunger
you're
Games,
gonna
yeah.
try and pretend like people are dying in this movie. One girl got thrown against a wall and then she just died. You just like threw her against the wall like, I'm dead. Come on.
Well,
There's no
let's be
consequence
clear.
there.
Like, we don't think if a movie has more violence, it's better. It's just
If
like
you're gonna
if,
No, but when your
imply that
movie's
if
there's
you're gonna
about
show
killing
someone,
people.
yeah,
Yeah.
if your movie's about killing and showing someone dying, and you want the audience to feel it, it has to feel real. And if someone just falls over, it doesn't. It's not real. It's fucking stupid.
And you know what's fucking crazy about it is like you could even show, you could even restrain yourself from like showing it on screen. You know, like Funny
Yeah.
Games is a great example of that, where like all the
Mhm.
violence happens off screen, but what's happening and how it's shown and how it's implied and how it's presented is just so like horrific.
Horrific.
And disturbing.
Mhm.
And like there's actual consequences there. But you know, Venom tried; they couldn't do that shit.
Or you can be more creative with it, like, oh, I'm not going to show the violence, so I'll turn the camera off screen and you'll see a shadow of someone getting shot. Like, show it creative, like Spielberg does shit like that. That's fine, too. It's just if you're showing a close-up of somebody getting shot in the head, or like in Black Panther when that woman's throat gets slit and there's no blood and she just falls down.
That
It's
was
like, what the hell
annoying.
was that? Yeah,
Very
that's
weird.
just annoying.
Honestly, I don't know. What movie would be better with an R rating? Like fucking anything. I think like honestly, like I'm a fan of seeing things that are more violent or grotesque or interesting, you know? Like I feel like it's less boring when those things are in the mix.
Make every movie rated R. Make Up rated R. I would like
Do you
to see
find it
that.
interesting how like video games, they're cussing everywhere, there's excessive violence everywhere. For them, it's hardly really been an issue, and it makes it way more interesting as a result. Like, could you ever see a game like Wolfenstein ever getting a movie that would be as fun as that kind of setup?
No, that's interesting though.
Yeah.
People just like shooting other people in video games.
Yeah.
So no one really bats an eye at it. It's like, what else do you do in video games?
And also like I don't know, it's so bizarre cuz like so many people that play video games like Call of Duty and all these mature rated games are like 13-year-olds anyway. It's
Yeah.
like you're trying to capture that demographic in the cinemas, but I don't know, they could probably just show up with an adult and be fine for an R-rated movie. Like
Mhm.
there's tons of R-rated movies that are successful. New Wolverine, Deadpool, etc., you know, like
I don't think kids want to see them. I think kids would rather play
No?
violent video games than go see violent movies.
maybe. I've always thought it would be like really funny for someone to like buy an intellectual property that all throughout history has been associated with kids and been like G-rated, whatnot, and then take that property and be like, we're gonna make this like an R-rated movie, like make an Alvin and the Chipmunks where like Simon's addicted to meth, and like
What about like the Oogie Loves as like a horror movie?
Oh, that would be
like
great.
that, yeah.
If you want to
Like,
redeem
there's
the
so many
Oogie
things
Loves,
you could
that's how you do it. Well, they kind of did
Yeah.
that. It's like they did the opposite with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They started out being like an adult comic, and then it became like a goofy
Cartoony,
kid
kiddie.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what movie would be better R-rated? Cool Cat Saves the Kids. That'd make it
Agreed.
interesting.
Have the child actually get shot by the gun that he
Yeah.
finds.
It's like basically R-rated already. It's already so weird.
Yeah, true.
There's already a lot going on in that movie.
Well, isn't
Creepy
Cool
shit.
Cat making the school shooting movie? That might be rated R.
I don't know if that's actually happening anymore.
Really?
I don't think
Oh,
it is
that's
because he
sad.
like.
Are you on his YouTube? Like he puts really weird videos up sometimes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Derek Savage's crime show where he was like saying the like
And he just re-edits scenes, doesn't he, from various things he's already shot and like tries to sell them again and stuff like that.
Wow.
yeah, he keeps like posting pictures to his Twitter profile of like behind the scenes production of Cool Cat, but I'm pretty sure it's from like the movie he filmed in like 2014. And I think he's just pretending to make new content. And I think maybe even like the actor has just stopped working with him. Remember that video he posted where it was just like him clearly in the cat suit and all of the audio was made from old Cool Cat clips? It's like he's pretending he's still doing things, but he's not. I don't know what's happening. It's really weird.
I think that's a safe assumption.
We'll see where this story goes. Did we answer the question?
Well, Michael Scott,
Yeah, what was the
2003,
question? Whatever.
says, favorite TV theme songs.
Oh.
There are plenty of good ones of those. I can start us off
MASH.
with one. Yep.
Sorry.
You guys familiar with Dexter's intro?
Yeah. I like
It's a good
that
one.
intro. Mhm.
It's a nice one.
Well, Game of Thrones is probably the best one.
That's a
And
good
that
one.
song is epic. That gets you prepared for the
Yeah.
the epicness you're about to see.
Wiener,
Breaking
wiener,
Bad's got a
wiener,
nice one.
wiener, wiener,
Oh yeah,
wiener, wiener.
that's a good one too.
The Sopranos is a good one.
Oh yeah, Sopranos. Well, are we talking about just the songs or the openings themselves? 'Cause there's a lot of great TV openings. We guess we could talk about both.
It's just, favorite theme songs in the opening. Mad Men's got a really good one.
Mm-hmm. Mad Men.
The Simpsons, House.
Simpsons, yeah. The Wire.
Oh yeah, The Wire. Every season they have like a different cover of the same song, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta watch more of The Wire.
DuckTales, Pokemon.
Mhm.
Pokemon's a good one.
How about out of the old sitcoms? I think the Fresh Prince
Seinfeld.
theme is the best one. Oh, Seinfeld. Yeah, that's a good one. The Fresh Prince theme, though. is
I
still-
genuinely love the Seinfeld theme.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Oh, and the guy who wrote Seinfeld. What's it called?
Larry David.
Yeah, what's his show called?
Curb Your
Curb Your
Enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm?
Yeah,
oh, that's,
yeah.
That's iconic.
That's a great one.
Man, apparently they're making a season 10.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Did you guys see season 9?
I didn't. I'm catching up on the rest of them.
Oh man,
really
I
funny.
plowed through like the entire series when I got really sick once. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's a super funny show.
Yeah.
How about
tons
the Full
of
House theme?
great themes. Full House. Yeah, sure.
Whatever happened to predictability? It's a good one. I know all the lyrics to that one.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Thanks. You know what? You know who doesn't have good openings? Netflix. I don't think any of the Netflix shows have like really memorable openings, right?
Making
quite
a
like the House
Murderer
of
has a
Cards
good
one.
soundtrack.
House of Cards one's boring. It's just shots of DC with like, I don't know.
I like the
whatever,
score for it and stuff.
orchestra. It's fine. The Daredevil one is like okay.
Yeah.
Da-na-na.
Stranger
Gives a fuck.
Things.
Oh, Stranger Things is a good one.
Yeah.
Although it sounds very similar to the Only God Forgives song. I guess that's the best one on Netflix.
Did you guys ever watch American Vandal?
Yeah.
No, but I've heard it's really good.
You should watch it. I think you would
That's
like
the
it,
one where
Alex.
the kid spray paints the penises. On
Yeah,
the...
there's
Yeah.
a season 2,
Okay.
by the way.
Is that good? I saw the teaser for that, and it didn't look that good.
I enjoyed it. I didn't like it as much as season 1, but it was still
Yeah.
definitely worth watching.
Mm-hmm. Who was the
Which
main
I don't
kid in
say
season
about
1?
most
He was
shows.
great. He was like some YouTube star, and they got him for season 1
Yeah.
to be like the main kid. He was fantastic.
Yeah. The dude bro guy.
Yeah, the dude bro guy.
Yeah.
But he's like, at first you think he's
Oh,
like
he's
this
awesome.
douchebag dude bro, but then he becomes this really likable character.
Yeah. He's in a few movies, I think, now.
Good. He deserves work. He's a good actor.
He was great. He was
Yeah.
he was part of what made me like season 1 more than season 2, for sure.
Mhm. Yeah. Is he even in season 2?
No, it's a different story. Different school.
Yeah, I know it's a
Um,
different story, but like they have the same people around, like those.
It's just the two
film
filmmakers,
students.
the-
Yeah, the film students come back. I
Yeah,
didn't know if the
like
other
Ray
kid came back too.
Milando or whatever.
Okay,
It's funny. There's some good parts
I'll
in
watch it.
From _guy_, the most controversial question to be asked on this thread ever. What are your opinions on anime?
I believe it's pronounced anime.
Sorry, anime.
Anime.
How familiar are
I don't know.
you with anime?
Well, I
Not
watched Cory in the House.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a great anime.
I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm huge on anime, and I guess we're talking purely like television series, or are we including movies?
Let's just keep it to television, but the anime
Yeah.
most people think
Yeah.
of.
Like, I fucking love Death Note.
Yeah, I watched it last year. It was genuinely quite good up until a certain
Yeah.
point.
That's like an anime for people that don't like anime, you know?
Yeah.
Mm.
It's
It
an
still has a
anime
lot
that
of
everybody
tropes,
can love.
but it works. Yeah.
What was the certain point, Alex, where Death Note
There's-
was off?
there's-
there would be a spoiler.
Oh,
I'm
yeah?
not gonna
Okay.
say, but there's just
Episode 27?
yeah, when the best character. Yeah.
We're not gonna say much more. But yeah,
Okay.
there's definitely a
I'll
shift.
keep it vague. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
could
watch
have
a lot of
ended
anime.
there, honestly. But Devilman Crybaby is pretty fun. That's a Netflix one.
Okay.
I'm
Alright,
enjoying
yeah.
that. I think Ralph, you might enjoy Devilman Crybaby. It's really like out there.
Okay.
It's really the animation style is really cool. It's very like violent and energetic, and it's an entertaining watch. And you have to like, I don't know, the plot isn't like super tight. Like, it's not something that's like super well written. It's a little bit formulated, but it's a really fun watch. Something that I can like watch casually and go back to every couple weeks or something.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I just usually don't watch a lot of animated stuff in general. I mainly try to keep to live action narrative.
Yeah, I'm
but
with you.
That's why I haven't really watched anime, although I have friends who have watched it, and I don't know, I don't think it's for me. There's this
Yeah,
one
I've
I don't know
seen
what it was,
3 full like seasons of like anime, various different anime, and I've only kind of liked one, which was Death Note.
Yeah, Death Note is awesome.
I think anime has this stigma of like being this nerdy, dorky thing, and like it's a lot of like a negative connotation in America, and I don't like that. I think it's just as valid of an art form as anything else, and I think it does have some merit, lots of merit, but it's just not for me.
I don't know. There are things with the genre that kind of turn me away from it sometimes. Though.
Yeah.
Like depending on the series.
Like the fan art.
No. I wouldn't. I mean, like, there's shitty fan art of everything.
Yeah, I guess.
What I'm talking about is like I watched. I was watching an anime called Wolf's Rain, and I think it was about like 15 episodes in, like halfway through the series or something. Like, things are moving along. Like, I'm invested in some way, and then all of a sudden, there's like probably 6 episodes in a row where they just did recaps. And I'm like, I've seen all this shit. And like it would be one episode of let's recap everything about this character, and then it would end. And then the next episode, let's recap everything about this character. I'm like, seriously, fuck. And then I never finished it.
Yeah.
I got so like uninvested in it that I just was just like, and then I never continued. I'd like to start it again, I guess, but holy fuck, that was annoying. Apparently that's just like an anime-ism.
Yeah, there's also a bit of a like cultural barrier thing with just the way they tend to write dialogue. Sometimes for their shows can be a bit exposition heavy. I find maybe some
it's
of
like
the
a
worst
limitation
ones.
of budget.
Yeah, and
there's some things
the
you just
actual
can't show, so they gotta explain it.
exactly, yeah. Or the like animation can be really repetitive sometimes, or quite sort of static for budgetary reasons.
Yeah.
I guess it just depends on which one we're talking about, though. That's quite
That's
vague.
really what turns me away from it too. Is like when I watch something animated, I really want to appreciate how much work went into the animation, and not that they don't put work into it. Obviously they do, but it's definitely cheaper. It's a cheaper standard. Whereas if I watch like an anime movie, like Akira, I fucking love Akira. That movie looks gorgeous, and that's one of the many reasons why I love it. So I guess it depends.
Yeah.
I would recommend that both of you watch at least one episode of Food Wars.
Is that like
Food
an anime?
Wars.
It's
Sounds
an
like
anime,
a show on the
yeah.
Food Network, like Cupcake Wars or something.
Food Wars Shokugeki no Soma, I think is the full title.
Yeah.
Watch at least one episode of that because it's its own little special thing.
Nice, I'll do that.
It's pretty entertaining. But yeah, I'm not like, I don't know. I have to find the right series, I guess. And sometimes, there's things that have interesting concepts, but then you just have to give like a lot of credit to, like some of them just turn kind of shit. There was an anime that I found really interesting called what the fuck was it called? Oh no. This is gonna destroy me. There's like a Netflix version of it that was like in fucking computer animated. I need to just look this shit up right now.
Oh, I know. I think I know what you mean.
I think it's on my list here. Just give me a
Can't
sec.
help you guys. I'm
I'll
sorry.
edit this out.
Some with Titan.
No. Oh, Attack on Titan was kind of cool.
Attack
I
on
didn't watch
Titan. That's what I
season
was
2 though.
Yeah, I watched Attack on
Um,
Titan.
Okay. Don't a lot of these go on for a really long time too? That's kind of
Yes.
what turns me off from it.
The like
To have to
Naruto.
invest so much time into like one show, it's like, come on, can't you wrap it up eventually? How much?
Oh, it's called.
How much can you explore?
There's an anime called Gantz, Gantz or Z,
Mhm.
and I found that one really watchable. But by the end of it, it was like, I don't know, it was only like 8 episodes or something, and I felt like barely anything happened. Like the whole thing was told in real time, so like, like half an hour is half an hour, I guess.
Yeah.
And it just felt like by the end of it, it's like, wow, you could have had the exact same amount of episodes in runtime, but the story could have gone twice as far, and I would have loved to have seen more. But yeah, that one was pretty interesting, at least pretty good, pretty violent and fun.
I think I've seen clips of that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Do we don't want to do one last question?
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Well, we mentioned a bit of this subject earlier. I did. IMSBS111 says, "What games do you think do the whole story thing right, in your opinions?"
Oh, very good question. Last of Us has a it's a great story, although it's a little inspired by Children of Men and stuff like that. But like that's one of the only games where I genuinely felt human emotion for characters, and I think Naughty Dog does that super well. Like making it as realistic as you possibly can, making it as cinematic as you possibly can.
Yeah.
You know, that's why a story like that works for me.
I was also going to say The Last of Us. Like, Naughty Dog does a great job with integrating the gameplay into the story. Like, the opening scene of that game is just so powerful. Because it's not like
it's
you're just
really well
watching
done.
a cutscene, right? Like, when you're in the back of a truck, like, and there's the burning farm that you're going across, and, like, you're controlling the character, and you can move the camera so that the character is looking back at the burning thing, or you can ignore it. And just that level of, like, control that you have in that situation brings you into the character's head. It makes it so much more of an impactful experience than if you were just watching it passively as a cutscene or as a film even. So I think like in terms of like cinematic presentation, like Naughty Dog does a great job, and I'm excited for The Last of Us 2 for sure.
Yeah, me too. And the flow of their games is so well. Like there's games where it's clear gameplay, cutscene. But everything in their games just meshes together beautifully. I mean, there are cutscenes, but you want to watch them because they're so, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Never
The
mind.
narrative's just interesting. The characters
Yeah,
are
they're
interesting.
just good storytellers. They just really are.
They're building up something you can actually get attached to instead of
And that's
just
something
being...
like I feel a lot of video games, they don't have to do it for one thing, because I feel a lot of people play video games not for that. They just want to escape. They want some escapism for a few hours, and they just want to shoot shit. But the few video games that actually put time and effort into telling a story and making you like those characters, I respect that a lot. I just don't think it's done a lot.
There was an indie game that I got on Steam that I was actually very pleasantly surprised with. It was like I beat it in like 2 hours. It's pretty short. It's a low commitment thing. It's called What Remains of Edith Finch.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
And
know
I
that one.
would definitely recommend that. That was a very interesting like story presentation. It's not like a traditional narrative story for sure, but I walked into that game like kind of planning on shitting on it, and I was really happy with it by the end of it.
I like Inside and Limbo. Those two.
Yeah, I
are great.
really like Inside.
They tell
That's
the story
a
really
very unique
well.
one.
The exact opposite. They tell it just through gameplay, no dialogue at all.
Yeah, that one's more of like a gameplay experience than story, though, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know.
But I think it does tell a story.
It's just completely visual
in a
with
way
no
that,
dialogue.
completely
Yeah.
visual in a way that only a video game can, which I
Okay.
think too.
I think as far as like traditional cinematic style of storytelling, I mentioned Wolfenstein earlier, but have either of you guys played Wolfenstein 2?
No,
yeah.
That game's like the story isn't anything special, but I found the storytelling to be really stylish and well done,
Yeah,
especially
I
for a
did too.
game like that. Like there's some really good scenes. There's a certain scene with like someone playing a saxophone, which is really impressive, that I thought was extremely well executed for a game. It really took advantage of what video games can allow you to do that you cannot do in the real world with just real world limitations. Whereas too much of the time, video games kind of copy movies, but they copy bad movies or bad tropes. Like I think of something like Destiny, where it's just they're not just copying movies, but they're copying like bland kind of fucking bad science fiction movies. But Wolfenstein 2, like it's got so much energy to it, and they really thought about like the way the camera work moves and the acting, everything. There's some really good videos.
All the characters are great. They're like these cartoonish. There's the guy with like a hole in his head.
Yeah,
there's this older woman in a robot suit. Yeah, it's great. It's so great.
Maybe I should play it.
Yeah, you should. Both of them. Even the first one is pretty
First one's
awesome.
good,
There's the scene in the second one with Hitler. Like Hitler comes in and you have to like
That's
audition
an
for him.
Awesome scene.
And he's like pissing in his chamber pot.
It's got countless great scenes like that.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever played any of the Oddworld games?
No, I haven't. I've heard of them.
No, I haven't.
No? Oh man. Don't do like the new and tasty remake. Just play through you can actually get them on Steam, the original Oddworld games. Amazing art design, like great gameplay, and really, really, really well done cutscenes. I think my favorite cutscenes, maybe from any game, might be from Munch's Odyssey. Like that's
Really?
that has some awesome cutscenes in it for sure, and it's you genuinely feel rewarded whenever you get to them.
How do you guys feel about what's his name? Hideo Kojima, his stories and storytelling?
Not for me.
Yep, that's how I feel.
I find it really pretentious, if I'm being honest.
I have him up there with David Cage. Like,
Yeah.
Norman Reedus and the
pretentious,
Funky Fetus.
obnoxious, really like perverted sometimes.
I think the guy's got some great
pretentious.
ideas, but he needs to just be an ideas man and have like funnel through someone else.
Like Guillermo.
He needs other people.
Yeah.
He needs other people to keep him grounded. You know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like Death Stranding looks completely incomprehensible at this point.
I don't even think it's a real game. I don't know. Like I don't know what it is. I don't know what you do in it. I just know Norman Reedus is in it.
Have you guys ever played a Suda 51 game?
No.
No, I
Oh my
haven't.
god. Play Killer 7. That has it's a very fun game, very satisfying playthrough, very incomprehensible as well. He's like he's one of my favorite game designers because like no matter what game you play from him, like it's always going to be different and it's always going to be like really weird and interesting and just like a fun, funny kind of like bizarre experience. And he's got so many fucking games. I'm trying to play through all of them on my channel.
I want to mention two BioShock games. Those are especially Infinite and the first one. Those have really great stories. And Red Dead Redemption.
Red Dead, of course, yeah.
Especially for an open world game, because usually open world games, not that they have bad stories, they're just not really concerned with the story as much. But
Yeah, they're
for
more
an
limited,
open world
aren't they?
game, that story is fucking excellent. It's a
Yeah,
great.
Red Dead
it's
2
really,
comes out
really
soon,
good.
doesn't it?
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
That's gonna be my whole life. November. It's just
Yep,
playing
same.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. When does that come out?
End of
October
October.
27th, 28th, whatever the Friday is of that week.
Dank.
Yeah.
Cannot wait.
I got to shout out the South Park games, man.
Oh yeah.
Have you played
Those are
the Stick
great.
of Truth and the
Those are
superhero
great.
one?
Yeah, they're fucking hilarious. And you're like fighting some I don't remember,
Yeah.
but you're fighting like someone while your dad is fucking your mom. Like, stands
Yeah, that's in the first
and
one.
there's like a ball sack flying in the background. Those are awesome.
All right. I guess we answered all the questions.
I guess
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Those are good.
All right. So I guess we've got a movie recommendation, and I
Yeah,
guess
who is
it's
it?
my turn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, boy. So we've actually got a guest joining us for the next episode. It's a guest we've already had on, and don't worry, audience, we will be getting more guests as well, newer guests. But I kind of wanted Chris Stuckman to come back to watch this movie because he expressed interest in talking about a Michael Haneke film. So my recommendation is for The Piano Teacher, which is
lovely.
probably I guess I won't say you guys already know this is my favorite director, so I might as well just say it. Like this is in my like top 10 movies probably. So I don't know if you'll feel the same way, but this is definitely something that I consider to be one of my faves, and I'm
Awesome.
excited to have a discussion on it. So the French title would be La Pianiste, I think, and there's a Criterion Blu-ray for anybody that wants it. There's probably a European Blu-ray as well, but I'm sure you can find it on iTunes or something.
Yeah.
Next episode, that will be the discussion. So if you want to listen to the discussion, I highly recommend that you check out the film between now and next episode.
Bro.
Thank you everybody for joining. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you.
Have
thank you,
a happy Halloween. Have a Blaze It 420 Halloween in Canada, I guess.
Hell yeah.
And if you want to support the show or get these episodes early when they're edited, head to Sardonicast.com. Sign up for premium. $2 a month will get you these episodes early. Also, patreon.com/Sardonicast will do the same thing. Thank you very much. I guess we're doing the credits scene. Venom!
Venom! Song.
Venom!
Oh, look, it's Woody Harrelson.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that
bring
was
some
bad.
carnage, guys.
Yeah, something carnage. I don't even remember what he said. I guess there'll be a lot of carnage. Wink. I groaned. I audibly.
I just
groaned at
immediately
that
got
part.
up and
I was
left.
like, ugh.
Yeah, I didn't
I
even
just
stay around
left.
long enough for that.
Yeah.
I walked out the second Eminem started singing.
Oh, really?
I'm
You
like,
didn't
I'm
even
getting
get to
the
the
fuck
end
out of here.
Oh, that's funny. All right. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.